Hello everyone, and welcome. We can quickly start speaking about the bands when I uploaded the correct picture. I always have to do that live, unfortunately. Okay. Now we should have the correct buns here on the screen, and we can talk about them in the first place here. Raton Vipers, very interesting save here by the Academy, and I do think that's due to the fact that also Dunkel is a big fan of them. They provide so much interesting utility. Arguably, they are one of the most interesting range counters as well because of their high angle. And they're also great for harassing from safe positions that are not counterable by longbows, etc. Other side, saving somewhat phalanx here. So they definitely want to prevent the Kev spam. Maybe the better way than trying to ban Kev. Also, Starward ban, Shenji Grenadier ban, and Siphonari ban by the Academy side. Very interesting. Because one of these units is definitely a thing Yebadi themselves would like to play in a lot of games. But no specials on this side. Also, Social Experiment going here for the Falconetti and Coconuts ban. Also banning Lion Roars. So game will be very special free. And I do think that's especially for less experienced teams a good environment to not get caught up with trying to defend specials or playing fully around them. Because as much as this sounds like a simple idea, every player in these special based games needs to be very aware of his task, either if they have to defend, if they have to scout, or if they have to try and kill these units. So that's actually way more complex, also when it comes to communication. He seems to have better synergy, so I do think it's a smart move as a less experienced team to go and try to ban all the special units, because special units, like with them, like your game stands and falls. And if you just like unluckily, because one of your players is unexperienced, loses them, unlucky, basically a whole fight is done and you will lose it hardcore. So I do think as a less experienced team, banning specials in general is a good thing, and to minimize the potential for special-based gameplay. So let's move over to the lobby, because I think we are about to start off here. Also, as a little information for everyone involved, I was about to cast the first game, but the traffic jammed a little bit too much on my way home, so I couldn't make it in time, and decided that I will just start with the second game of the evening. So yeah, I do hope that all you guys who wanted to see the first time slot, that you found a worthy replacement of mine and still had a good entertaining stream to see the first match, or to see one match out of the first slot that you wanted to see. Because as always, this is a little bit tough, because we have to always decide between the games we want to cast. For now, I personally stick to what I find interesting. That could be chivalric games, that could be rustic games. Fully depending on where do I see like either teams I actually like a lot, or where I feel like the matchup is kind of close, so we are getting a more intense match. Like, I don't know, for example, like if the best team in the tournament would fight the weakest team in the tournament, that's most likely not a match I would watch, even if I was a fan of the best team in the tournament. you know, like, because I want to see interesting close matches. I will also always favor like teams that have a tendency to go crazy with their strats, because I want to see something new, and I would rather choose a team that is very, very like uncommon with their strategies and presenting us something new and spicy. That's at least so far my preference. Like, if you guys have a preference, just tell me, so I might adapt a little. But for now, we stay with the Crank Show. So we watch the matches together that I enjoy the most. Always also feel free to contact me in the chat on Discord, and we can have a discussion about it. Also, if you want to like highlight a team that I should watch because they're interesting, you are happily invited to, yeah, wake my interest. And now here we are getting ready for Yeah Buddy Academy on attack and Social Experiment on defense. I do think that's a very interesting matchup. Yeah Buddy Academy rocking kind of, yeah, warbands that very much look like Yeah Buddy warbands would also look, minus the special units. Also a lot of Wuxing pikes. That's definitely a Yeah Buddy influence. They spammed them a lot in the last tournaments. Also a lot of green Kevs. Couturiers are still kind of out of hand with the very, very strong rune they currently get this season. Also, obviously, Rattan pikes a lot on both sides. The pick I do really want to highlight here is for Social Experiment, the one set of Hwang. I do think that's a very, very smart pick. Because even after the long range nerfs, they are still kind of great to snipe off with arrow rain range units, while still maintaining a very solid DPS potential. I mean, they have a heavy gold investment, but they do way more damage to blobs than, for example, longbows or imp archers, while having this long range anti-range unit capabilities. So let's see if this is working like we think. These Hwang most likely will stand in the spawn at the end cap, I think. Like over here in the spawn. I think that is a very common place for long range units that can harass the opponent from the side and maybe also deny opponents when they are attacking from long range poking. But for now, we are stuck with the very, very boring tower pushing phase. One of the bigger questions here is, are defenders capable of destroying this left bottom tower here to delay the attack? Because a lot of teams rely on this tower for their pushing strats. A lot of teams are going still for this like left-sided push here as a 10-5 split very often, trying to force the opponent here in this corner, where they're also capable of trapping when they're pulling reinforcements, while having a mostly like one-sided fight themselves, depending on how everything works. But they do need this bottom tower for it, for creating, for them a two-sided attack in the like lesser trappable area, and forcing opponents either back when they want to fight one front versus one front. They also get a lot of like very safe space here for special units. So this tower is indeed very interesting, and that's also one of the reasons why a lot of teams try to deny at least one tower on this position. In general, it is very hard to do so because you only get the standard artillery and the damage your heroes like muskets and longbows can provide. Enk, thanks a lot, buddy, for the follow. I do really appreciate it. And these towers are hard to take down because you got no artillery on the players, because that's in the tournament rules. No additional blue artillery, like we, for example, saw in CBL the last time. And yeah, also the units that are very capable of doing so, like the most capable cannons are banned. And for example, units like Green Jeffs are not that highly rated and are definitely also not a good anti-unit unit. So I do think they're not good to bring as a compromise for just delaying one tower. And we see the first action here on the ground. Big blob of Yeah by the Academy going and taking the ground. That means at least they're taking both supplies. So they're ensuring, at least for now, there will be no second fight on the wall. Most likely. Because even if the fight is going like 50-50, there is no way for Social Experiment to really take a supply and get new units until Yeah by the Academy is respawned. But now we see the Hwang already out. Okay. Very interesting. I did not expect them to be on the A point, because I do think for the A point the additional range is not that necessary, but they might come in very handy here to deny the poke on the bottom and on the other side. And here you see why these Hwang are so potent, because they are more tanky than other ranged units. They can dodge a lot of damage with their roll and jump, and then they do heavy damage. And they're denying at least one side of the double-sided poke very effectively here. And as I said, they are not that much of a DPS loss. They also have a very solid amount of ammunition, because they have a refill mechanic during their skills. So very, very interesting use of the Hwang here. But that means most likely they are going to lose these Hwang, and they will not have them for the flank to deny poke on the end cap. Also, welcome Amir in the chat, welcome. As always, guys, root for your favorite teams, wish them luck. Some of them watch the VODs and they will see the chat. Yeah, and they will definitely appreciate your support. Defenders going here for a very even 2 split by trying to keep use of the Hwang. They keep rotating left and right, trying to find angles on the range without getting killed, trapped and sniped. Now the rotation that can be trapped, at least for some part. But yeah, by the Academy is not that aware. And now we have to wait for the trap and where the engagement will happen. These two sheet mains here are a little bit out of position, I would say. They might get caught here. And yeah, by the Academy taking a lot of space here on the top. I think that is according to the plan of Social Experiment. They want them here in the sandwich, but also good reaction here by the Academy with the trap onto this choke where they are perfectly holding them. This trap that definitely cost a lot of units. But still, Social Experiment is making their way through, but might eat another trap. The left side is already beaten by the Academy, and they are going now into wiping the other side. Hwang are also getting dove here. Amazing. But it looks like, yeah, as I predicted, no supply is also getting taken back. The Academy is also taking the supply here. Or still keeping the supply and taking the A point slowly but surely, and no reinforcements are about to come here. Now the only question is, will Social Experiment start holding somewhere more to this front supply in the front here, or are they going for the very classical end cap hold? Or something in between with this crossroad here that gets maybe supported from some blue range out of the safe zone. I think that is the 3 options we face right here. Here by the Academy, very aggressive hero use here in the front, ensuring that the supply stays theirs and that they will at least not face a very front defense. I think that's a good call here from Social Experiment. Also, moin to Chris, welcome, welcome. Okay, Warband wise, We see the blue range dominating. Crossbows. At least one of my favorite range units are the crossbows. Not only because they do great damage into blobs, even shielded blobs, but their anti-cav capabilities are insane. Even if I do think the range units should not be that good against cav, they are actually one of the more reliable ways of denying flanking cavs if they are managed correctly and the timing is good. And they bring like extreme value for the price. But same is true for Rattan Vipers. If they are shooting with these high angles onto points, harassing the defenders off the point. And we see the arrows fly here. Solid rotation trap. But might only cause a little bit of damage to the blue shield. Oh, these backside phalanx, they stopped even the trap arrow, but luckily they did not get caught. One attacker cav here in the backside that will get answered by the phalanx. I do hope this cav player... Oh, the phalanx is running away! Oh, it was maybe just a bait. I hope that was an intentional bait, but well played to the phalanx player. Ember Scott did a great job here, and the cav did a bad job from the one side, going in too early and not rotating back. Very common mistake. Then someone sticks to the plans as a slave, not reworking the plan if it's not doable. And now the defense for Story Enjoyers, Social Experiment, I'm very sorry, is looking kinda solid. But not multiple cavs now coming in from the front side here. Good double unit pull by the Academy. Not overcommitting their heroes, which is a smart call, because they do not provide too much value in these team fights. But it's still not enough. Very solid defense here by Social Experiment. Unit count looks slightly better for here by the Academy. The big amount of green and blue units is paying off here. And they do still have enough time, 7.5 minutes, that they can attempt another try. Good call for a reset. Dual Blade is hopefully making it out, not overextending. Chapel should be experienced enough. Long Rough Justice player. Sorry guys. Long Rough Justice player. He should have the experience to not die unnecessarily before a push. But also he's an old school aggressive hero player and he wants to get value with his Dual Blade. Maybe force a 1-on-1. Gain a little bit of respawn advantage by killing someone. So I do really appreciate that. Oh, this musket is living a dangerous life. So, dear teams, if you see this and you want to improve and do better, love your muskets and give them space. Because if they're dancing alone in the front and trying to throw bombs, they might get picked off and die, and that's actually not what you want. As a heavy player, just stay around them, be ready to attack, counter-attack whoever is attacking them, to create this space for these musket guys to work, because they can secure you guys insane advantages by killing specials before fights, by harassing units, like core units, maybe phalanx, etc. Yeah, also, I mean, I'm mentioning that the by the Academy fight actually looked pretty clean. That's true. Besides the one cav that was too early and did not, like, or just executed the plan that was pre-planned. Most likely, that's how it looked. Everything looked very solid. Good combination of the infantry here working. But still, Social Experiment looking very compact here. Not really allowing people behind their phalanx, for example. And this phalanx are protecting them against the cav. And huge cav here into their back. Yeah, by the Academy definitely got a very hurtful charge in the back. That's the danger of like consistently like 1-1v comboing on phalanx, because they are not turning. So when they are turned to the front, they will not turn to the back to answer the cav charge. But now it looks like Yeah by the Academy won the fight good enough, and their reinforcements keep coming in. The deep 4-unit warbands are definitely paying off. And also thanks a lot Luxa and Amir for the follows. Thanks a lot. And we see them on the end cap walking through, just getting very slightly stopped by singular heroes that get taken down bit by bit. These phalanx could use their V mode and walk to hunt heroes. A little micro improvement. And you just brace them in the front when you see the cav coming. But other than that, yeah, very, very solid communication. It looks like multiple people trying to focus down people bit after bit here. And this is the slow death by Social Experiment. It's coming in one by one into the meat grinder. And that is something that can work, but not with 4 minutes on the clock. That's a thing that only works arguably in the last minute. Even if the heroes are doing a great job being heroes and trying to survive, this will not convincingly kill a lot of Yeah by the Academy units. Also, Yeah by the Academy is still having more units left. So even if they call in here for a quick reset, it would not matter too much, but that's not needed. Very, very solid first win here for Yeah by the Academy. Mother Goat here with the big numbers. Also very, very crazy scoreboard here, not gonna lie. When a lot of unit kill players are on the very bottom, I actually do not know how they managed to. Did they know team damage? I guess they didn't tank a lot. I have not enough attention to these guys' warbands to create a perfect clear. Maybe you guys can let me know what reasons why people with actually very solid amount of kills on the scoreboard saw. Or did I miss a change in the patch? Because we also see the same on the other side. I mean, it might just be the song, right? Because we have A pluses over S. It might just messed up a little. Okay, we still found the MVPs. I think they look solid enough. Also, Shima with a very solid performance here. 152 kills, taking the MVP. And we go a very, very break, guys. And get into the second game where Yeah by the Academy shows us hopefully how they defend this map. Maybe with something very spicy. And here we are back in the lobby. I do think, yeah, it's worth to correctly answer some things. Yeah, exactly. As I wrote in the chat, Chepe was in Rough Justice. I think he played there from the beginning, since since Rough Justice was created from Legends. What Legend? Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it was Legends. Yeah, Chepe was with Rough Justice, but he kind of stepped down, I think, last season for the Area Cup, because I think real life issues, whatever, I don't know. I also can't fully leak further. But yeah, he stepped down because he didn't have the time in general. And yeah, I think now he is back. But unfortunately, Rough Justice was very full, as all these more top tier teams have the tendency to, because of course everyone wants to get into a higher up team that is already kind of successful to get the best chance of winning. Definitely understandable. But also these times, teams very often have not a big rotation of players. I think Rough Justice did not really swap players throughout the last tournaments. It was only roughly 5 people, I think, that were swapped for most tournaments when the roster changed from 20 to 25, depending on the rule set. That was the biggest changes. Yeah, so unfortunately Chepe is not in Rough Justice anymore, but I'm happy that he is still on the battlefield here in competitive, and yeah, by the Academy gave him a chance where he can, yeah, still impress us with his dual blade skills. And maybe he is capable of doing something. Voice lags, oh god, no, please no. I actually do hope it's not going to be that bad. I definitely need to figure out some things and test again, because I feel like the last driver update fucked something around with my Steel Series driver that is also capable of doing this sonar feature, where you can put a special equalizer over your games, which is very helpful, at least in my case, for playing Counter-Strike, to isolate step noises a little bit more. But I feel like it got messed up a little bit with the last NVIDIA driver for whatever reason. Or also maybe the last Windows update. So yeah, I will investigate on that. But for now, we need to go from what we have currently, because the lobby is popping. Bans are the same. In all things short, Viper safe, Phalanx safe, and close to all specials banned. So both teams definitely agreed on not playing specials. So the most special units will be the Blue Rangers, like Rattan Vipers, maybe some Fire Archers, and some Arbalists. And also whenever you have feedback of whatever type of form, because I know the stream keeps shuttering or whatever, just always feel free, just post it here. I definitely appreciate every type of feedback that is constructive enough that I can follow up on it and improve whatever we are cooking here. Yeah, warbands look the same. We only missed the Hawang here, I think. I think this one got exchanged for a Kev, which most likely makes sense because the Hawang are not really good for the attacker, I would argue, because there's not a lot of situations where you can abuse long range but flat arc range fire. So yeah, definitely a fan of not playing. Especially because so even on the better side, they did not have the craziest impact. from what I saw. So yeah, I'm a fan. Good adaptation of the warbands. Using mouse speed a little more. So we're having a more smooth camera work here. And we're heading towards another tower pushing phase. Let's see how they are dealing with the bottom tower. Partisan asking for the bans again. Yeah. Maybe if you heard it or if you have not heard it some minutes ago when I said it. The saves were Social Experiment. Damn, SE. Social Experiment saved Phalanx, and here by the Academy saved Rattan Vipers. And they basically banned the specials on both sides, like Lion Roar's banned, Shenji banned, Coco's banned, Flames banned. Did I forget something? It was basically specials. I can also quickly just show it. I think as long as we are in the boring phase, I can give you a quick unit ban screen. So yeah, I just forgot the Falconettis and the Star Wars. So yeah, big blob special gameplay was perfectly banned out here. But we still a semi-big blob and no special gameplay. Yeah, bottom tower is going once down most likely because they still have the very backside Hawacha. And we see a lot of quits. What is the reason for the remake? I am going to check the Discord and maybe find the reason. We currently see some people in the referee chat. For now, announcement what it currently was. So we do not take the results here into any account. And we will see some action afterwards, which will most likely be a remake of the lobby because I think they managed to pull the quit out in the first minute. That looks like that they will have contacted the referees beforehand. So yeah, let's see. Let's see what these guys are cooking here. Lobby is filling in quite quickly. So maybe it was just a small issue. Maybe someone had the wrong runes on because they could maybe swap class or something. Everything could happen. And they did not want to risk an instant loss of the game. One of the sides. I still do not see anything in Captain Chat. So yeah, we have to suffer through the tower pushing phase once again. I will let you guys know if I find out what the reasoning is. yeah, maybe we speak a little bit about the rosters, about players that are maybe interesting or where people know some history. For example, like one also long-time veteran here by the Alex was not the most active player in the last seasons, but he was shot calling for LAN Fair. Very OG tournament enjoyers will enjoy or will remember. I think he was also in Blame Elias back in the day. I would say, yeah, Blame Elias was a little bit more towards the top. LAN Fair was for most part like top of the middle of the pack, I would say. And I think by the Academy could be exactly the same, the same position so far. Also, for example, Zicarius is someone I played also with together in Bandits. He also then afterwards, I think he was more of an inactive player, but also returned to playing in a competitive team. And also, I do think then by the Academy, a project like these are the perfect starting point to get back into playing the game more active. And it's also showing that in general competitive is the thing that keeps people hooked or hooks people again that are maybe already very progressed throughout the game and are seasoned veterans. On the other side, I want to highlight who is Ember's God. I think a very interesting play here in the end of the last round when he was covering the back with his phalanx. And I do not know if that was an intentional bait, that way he was like turning around and walking to the main blob, or if he was just really feeling like he needs to protect the front or like fight for the front because he wants some kills, because I do think he's more the type of I want kills player. And then he realized the Kev comes, or if it was really an intentional bait where he was like, yeah, I make this Kev player try to get around and then I will catch. Because there he really pulled off a good walk into like brace and fast brace, like a 1v fast brace off to stop the Kev. So it could have been a perfect intentional bait against the Kev player. I would be really interested to know. So I hope if he sees this in the VODs, he might message me, or he might comment it on YouTube. Guys, in general, like I will also upload the VODs as soon as possible on YouTube. That is most likely including throughout the night after Sunday. Like Monday, it will be also on YouTube. So if you really want to rewatch some games, you could also go there. Updates on YouTube, etc. will be posted on my Discord when I post a video. Some of you already have the channel. It's not linked under my Twitch channel because I did not really use it so far. I just started for this tournament to use my YouTube channel more for public videos. Before there was only a lot of scrim videos up. And for every YouTube enjoyer, there is definitely your chance. You can see all the games I casted on YouTube. And now we filled enough space to go over for the very meat of the evening here. The unit comps remained the same, most likely. Maybe interesting highlight is here. I mean, we didn't talk about it so far. The Wu Ways on Lily QT. I do think that's due to the fact that they're still great at killing heroes, especially when a Chain Dart is pinning them down. Which is a very common combo to put like these type of damage and bait units on people that are like playing Chain Dart to secure either backlines or go for supply points in a one-on-one, because like Wues are still pretty solid in most one-on-one situations against a lot of units, and they're especially very good against damage units that just make it through onto the supply. They're a great cleanup unit that can quickly burst down unit and hero. Yeah, that was at least one little detail and we try to keep everything at least informative. So we are also speaking about the gameplay on a detailed level from time to time when we have to fill a little bit space. So we all learn and improve. Also, if you guys notice something, for example, like Amir did, always put it in the chat. I'm very, very interested in seeing your guys' opinion on the presented gameplay. For example, if you notice a very interesting detail, I'm actually very interested in learning more about the game or learning other people's perspective on the game. Also, in this particular game, we did not really speak about the hero composition because I think they are pretty equal. A lot of poleaxe, some spear and shield, some musket, a little bit a longsword. So nothing too special here. Yeah, a very few dual blades and chain darts. I think that is pretty standard by now. I think also a lot of even like mid-tier teams managed to draft better and better hero comps. I think that's a huge improvement in the tournament scene compared to the past, where teams kind of had to like use whatever they have. You know, like if they only had a friend group that plays massively Maul, they just played 15 Mauls because they had 15 Mauls. And I feel today like a lot of teams can be more mindful about who they recruit. Also, a lot of people learned maybe more classes to diversify the hero classes a little bit to get advantage from having these longsword buffs, from having these glaive buffs, to use certain utility. So yeah, I do think that is a very, very good direction. How like teams in general improved, even on the medium end. We are casting here the middle division. It's also one question I would love to have in the chat answered. What do you guys think? What is the most used as hero class for competitive? Like not the most, like the least fun, like just the least useful one. I would definitely like to hear some opinions on it. I have a very clear answer, at least from my perspective. And I think we have a lot of time to speak about it because A is getting dropped for free. Yeah, by the Academy going for something that looks like a more front supply heavy hold with a two-sided counter push. I think they will go for here because they are staying away from the walls, and most likely then they will play from here and here into the middle when the opponent is pushing forward. That's at least how it looks for now. Yeah, having all the ranged units stacked up here for a crazy poke. That is actually very, very smart and thought through setup. Stacking up the range here, dealing massive damage when they're coming here or here down from the stairs. And when they try to push the range, they are going to get attacked from the flank. Very interesting setup. But the long range Hwang from the top are doing great work here. Sun Cow, brother. no rune fire, you hope? Yeah. Oh, I just saw it now in the chat. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, you were unluckily a victim of this rule. Also. Yeah, but rules are rules. And it's sad to see you leave the tournament like this. But I hope you are back for the next tournament. And you said also it was for being dumped. Yeah, I mean, it's a dump mistake. That's one of the reasons I never swap to Fire Rune on my medium set, since I mostly play medium in Rough Justice games currently. Yeah, with glaive and musket. So that cannot happen to me because I would 100% forget this shit. Even if Bara says it every game, because we also don't want to lose players to this. Okay, we see a wild rotation of the Hwang. I think he wanted to refill them, but we used the wrong supply. Now they might get jumped because they are so behind. Ah, good reaction here. Very good reaction. Negating space for the opponent musket, which is very, very important. This is something also like high level teams often struggle with, executing that super well. Because giving these muskets space or denying these muskets the space is super crucial when you play with range and specials. Because these guys should not be capable of going here and killing special units. I mean, Hwang don't die as easily. But for example, if you have Rattan Vipers, one little firebomb is enough to wipe a third of your unit. When they are walking stacked, it might be more. And we see a bottom push so far. Very, very interesting. Okay, a lot of damage here out of the gate by the Hwang. And they find their targets and pick off some of the opponent archers. But you definitely really feel the damage reduction for the arrow rain on Hwang. The damage when they came out was absolutely unreal over long range. There, they would have definitely wiped both of the archers here within seconds. But for now, both teams try to make work of these archers. Okay, Sicarius is getting targeted by the Hwang. I think they're shooting into the wall a little bit, yeah. Positioning not really optimal, and they also got a firebomb on them. Sicarius also not really losing archers. These Hwang do not seem to do huge damage to the range units. I'm very, very curious. Okay, they also got heavily decimated so far. But that means, yeah, buddy, range units have a lot more free space to work with. And now the fight is breaking out. Social Experiment here, going for a two-sided push into the Yeah Buddy setup. The split is quite even. And now Mother Goat is looking for the Hussars here. It is unfortunately lagging, but the Hussars, they went deep and they wiped very, very hard here into the blob. And Yeah Buddy is holding this front side, but also the double units come in hard and the little shield hold got absolutely kept down. Unfortunate. The supply block, I think, was not fast enough here. So Kev still got pulled. And I think now it's time for a good reset on Yeah Buddy Academy towards the end cap. Because the end cap is going to get pressured. They at least now need someone who is going to block it. One Rolex going there. Maybe getting... even dismounting here to stop the Kev, I guess. I don't know if that was the right call when the cap point is getting kept more and more. Seconds in the end can count. I think the end cap problem is a little bit diffused. But now it is definitely time to go and get a setup on this end cap. Because ideally you will want to fight more here in the front for your first fight on the end cap. Because they have more than one fight left in their pocket when it comes to unit count. So they want to take the fight here so they have a chance to reinforce here on the end cap with a second set of units.
Yes, Commander.
Our legend makes us immortal.
Also very, very good delay here on the front supply to also deny the attackers a good fast reset with full fresh units. Sorry guys, I also need to mute my Discord. I'm very sorry. I always forget to put the streamer mode immediately. Okay, and the reset is done. And Social Experiment is coming in hot for the very classical front push here. And we see here by the Academy harassing from the safe zone with blue archers, like fire archers. In general, fire archers have the problem of being out of ammunition very fast. I think they only have like 3 salvos in the tank. But with a very close supply, they can definitely do a lot of work here to harass. And I do think it's then the Vipers here on the point, because they have a lot more ammunition to work with, and they can massively abuse the high angle over this building here to even hit into like at least these units here on this line. They are definitely hitting. And it looks like they know that they are losing the poke battle, so they have to move in fast and take the fight. Now some of the archer players are not swapping into Kevs. Okay. They stay on the range. They do think that the range DPS is good enough. And definitely range hitting from the safe zone into the fight is doing some very significant damage. Fight is also lagging quite hard. All these fire effects are definitely breaking the game's performance a little bit. But yeah, the Academy is holding tight and strong. Same as Social Experiment did, being a very, very tight blob here and farming off the attackers very, very well. I would even argue even more clean than Social Experiment in their defense. The loser trap quite after. I don't see this thing happening. Maybe even the rotating phalanx. Unfortunate. Unfortunate for attacker. And now yeah, by the Academy taking a more forward position here. They do a bit fighting, but going down. Also very, very, very bad for the timing. Especially if the Dual has no Kev to reinforce. It will delay their push even further. And they are not with massive amounts of time on the clock. I think they do have like 1.5 push setups left for the attacker. So being down one player for a little bit longer is not the greatest thing. And these nuances can make a difference. That is, I think, is a thing to all the dual players. You are amazing in 1v1s and I know you thrive for these. But don't mess up your death timings and your resets. Especially if you have no like other way of impacting the map with these other timings that benefits your team overall more. Because if you're not able to join the main fights, you might be very useless. So yeah, take care, don't die too late. Sometimes, even if you can, maybe accept your death and die earlier to be on the same page as your team. And Social Experiment here going in absolutely deep and hot. But they are slow and spread out here in the back. And a lot of uncovered, non-shielded units that eat the damage from the safe zone. That's also very dirty, because the safe zone here, like the circle, is protecting you even from damage. So taking this middle road makes this range units even worse to deal with. And they now make it to the corner here of the end cap. They get off a trap that might hit a little bit, but yeah, by the Academy doing a great job. Like doing the fundamentals I was talking about, I think in the last casting session, learning the trap impact spots, learn how many traps can hit where, and then choose your fights wisely. And there you definitely see that yeah, by the Academy has a lot of experienced players and also experienced influence, because they definitely get help from Dunkel making strats, helping them with choosing better areas to fight and highlighting some crucial mechanics for some spots. And yeah, by the Academy definitely dominantly slaughtering this push. They didn't start good on the main road, getting picked apart by range and Cav, and ended in this very, very compact yeah by the Academy blob on the corner of the end cap where they could not be trapped. Very well played, executing the fundamentals here very, very well. And now Chapel on the chase. He might catch the dual blade. But a good bait for the Kev. Kutlias did not really get a lot of speed. I think that was a micromanagement mistake. These Kutlias could have charged from here and get a way better charge off. That could have been a very interesting trap to get at least some stats up. But yeah, the unit trade is overwhelming here by the Academy. Looks like they have won this game early. And they will just now spawn farm a little bit until the opponents are gone and finally eradicated. Let's try and find some nice hero action. Angel fighting his best against a bunch of players coming from all sides. He's dashing out, but even the very broken spear and shield dashes can't save him forever. Really cutie, execute him with a scorpion snare. And yeah, buddy, marching forward into the spawn. Because if you get clapped in your spawn, you deserve it. And yeah, buddy, Academy is definitely bringing out the deserved punishment with ease and I think some enjoyment. I know some of these players and I'm pretty sure they enjoy handing out this punishment here in the spawn. Also the trap here does not really hit something. And the massacre here goes on and on and on. Yeah, and that is a very solid 2-0 by the Academy. I do think the attack, they struggled a little bit more. That might say the map in this bracket is a little bit more defender-sided. But yeah, their defense looked very clean, very well thought through. And they definitely showed they were trading cleaner and better. Here by the Academy, MVP Sicarius. Yeah, very good unit and management, getting a lot of these kills. I think he also got a lot of these kills with his range. I think he was one of designated art players. But I did not perfectly pay attention if that was his main damage counter unit. If Sicarius did, he can let me know. Hero damage, not that high. And that's the sad part, at least for me. I feel like it's not that necessary, unfortunately. Good hero gameplay gets less and less important in how the game is played currently. So please, dear devs, make heroes great again. Also, Chapel, my former teammate, at least over 100,000 damage against heroes, 400,000 into units, spamming some shurikens most likely, 7-1, 179, nearly bottom fragging. These scoreboards currently are absolutely wild. I do like to talk Chapel for being a bottom fragger, even if it doesn't really matter in competitive. The thing that matters is that your team wins. On the other side, Oopsie and Ouchie, the dual blade, taking the MVP spot here. Half of Chapel's against heroes, slightly less against units. Very interesting and crazy scoreboards partially. I don't know what screwed them over, so we do take them too serious, judge every player individually. Maybe also a sign from above that we should not rate scoreboards too much in competitive, because in the end, even the guy who's not getting kills but covering the back against the one glorious and important Kev is doing a great and important job. So yeah, let's appreciate all of them and go into a very short break and get ready for the next game. And we are already back in the lobby of the next game. Lys Royal versus NoScrim, and I will also quickly give you the buns. As always, I unfortunately have to upload the correct picture in the process because I can't like do this in Streamlabs without clicking on the scene, and then it also automatically loads the scene. But LazyMe did not change to OBS so far. But yeah, that's on me, and I hope you guys can deal with it. But now the correct bans are on the screen. Sheet Maidens banned for Lys Royal, are saved for Lys Royal. Coconuts are saved for NoScrim, and they did definitely do a lot of work for them in the last game. Star Wars ban, Iron Reaper being banned, Sunward Phalanx being banned, very impactful bans. Here on the left side, I think only the Reaper ban is not that crazy of an impact. Also greetings to Preclara here in my DMs in the game. Very nice supporter and good player here, supporting my stream for so long. Hwang Archer's banned, very, very interesting. Sifonari and Lion Rock Crew. Sunkao, thanks a lot, man, for the follow. Also, Joker, man, I did miss the follow. I do really appreciate you guys here. And to everyone, welcome. Arian also, knock knock, welcome also, buddy. Welcome to enjoying competitive gaming together with Crank. I think that's the whole thing of the stream here. I do love this part about CB the most. And NoScrim was a team I had a lot of fun with in the past. And I am allowed to leak something. But since I don't have a scene for sharing my desktop, etc., it's something I can only leak on my Discord channel. So everyone who is already on the Discord channel, I posted. For the rest, I have to describe it. It's a picture of the whole NoScrim voice channel. Everyone being named Sunkao of some sort. It's like freedom for Sunkao, nerf Fire Rune, Sunkao. Preclara Sun Clown is also very well appreciated. Or Sun Coward by Momu. Gave me a good laugh, and I think that definitely shows how these guys are together as a team. These guys have a lot of fun. They can troll each other, and they enjoy playing together. That's definitely a good thing to see, and I do hope that this remains the same, and they will give us more and more content throughout this season and the next tournaments that are upcoming, because they have a lot of very potent, good players in their roster. And yeah, I do hope that these guys keep improving, keep growing, and I want to see them in Division 1, and I want to fight them in Division 1. Let's definitely put it that way. I also want them to fight against me in Division 1. Corrigan, 83, thanks a lot, man, for the follow. I appreciate you here. Also, Lys Royal is a team that is also less known. I think they are closely attached to the Lys Royal house that was during the last season in TW taking the first side capital of their career. And I think from there on, these guys got a lot of motivation to step up their game, and as part of which they also made their team. I think that's how I understand the story from the outside. So in case you're a Lys Royal player or you have better connection to them than me, always keep me updated. Also, Temple said scoreboard is fucked up for customs. Greetings to Chapel. The game knows that you're a bottom fragger. And also, as always, support your team in the chat. these guys put in a lot of love and effort to present you guys the best version of the game. So yeah, support your favorite player, your favorite team in the chat like Corrigan is doing. I do like to see it. I think also a lot of the teams that watch back the VODs or watch stuff later on YouTube, these guys enjoy the support, and I can say they definitely deserve the support. Especially the games I choose. Like, I'm nearly dissatisfied by what these guys are listing. They keep me motivated to do this here. So yeah, support these guys. Thank them. Because they entertain us on a Sunday evening. And Winville951. Thanks a lot, buddy, for the follow and welcome. Okay, blue side, NoScrim being here on the defender side. Lys Royal being red on the attacker side. We did not speak too much about the warbands. I think, yeah, seeing a lot of Modaos and Orochi here on the Lys Royal side for the beginning, combined with Hellbart, speaks for a solid fear of Sallies, which is maybe not that justified, I would say. We did not see Sallies so far here on this map, and also we saw a lot more attackers struggling with attacking this map so far, that I would say defenders do not need to Sally to make this map hard or to gain a certain surprise advantage when they can just play the more stable and predictable game plan. And as always, is the bottom tower reaching? It looks like it. I do love the energy of Marzipan for the guys of NoScrim. Give the teams your energy. They deserve it. Also greetings to Marzipan and Manta. Also when I read these out in the absolute snail race of the towers. Go little tower, reach the wall, maybe, eventually. Oh, guys, I wish we would see more maps like Fjord of Heilung, where you do not have a long tower pushing phase. Because the longer I play the game, the more I just want to see the fights, and I do not care about pushing towers, which is mostly being AFK. Especially as a viewer. As a player, it's not that bad currently, because I play musket, so I can just walk around and throw bombs at players and artillery on the wall. And we see a right-sided move up here by Lys Royal that immediately turns into a hero rush towards the one Watcher. And now we are going to see the first A-hold of my perspective on this map today. And let's see. A common thing could be that they are taking this very right side push immediately, because the opponents, the defenders were already on the other side. They just trap once into the rotation, but it looks like they're going for fake rotations, trying to hit some traps. That is the second option, just moving back and forth a little bit, trying to bait out units into the rotation. Unfortunately here, yeah, the Shenjis and the Coconuts, they will never rotate, so taking out the biggest threat will not be possible pre-fight, because these have a long enough range to just stay behind the building, and only when the fight is getting committed they just then move out. Which gives opportunity for a very good timed trap when they keep actually committing. These timings here on the... like these timings are not the best rotation wise, because they're not dipping in deep enough to force real deep rotations. But now they are splitting. It looks like that is now the time for the real push. Smart idea. Execution could be a little better. Also changing up their pattern the first time immediately also tells the opponent that this is most likely the real thing that is going to happen. And we see a hard one-side commit here by NoScrim. But that makes the back open maybe for some anti-special unit action. Lys Royal is a little bit slow on their feet and gives enough time for NoScrim to first face the push on the right side fully with their specials and then even rotate some units back. Trap here on the Kokos, hitting painfully hard. Clara's coconuts being very unfortunate. He tried to dodge the flank from the back, but they are gone. And the front side is still wiped. So they will just like rotate their melee units and eat up the last rest of Lys Royal. So the next question we have to ask ourselves is, are they actually going to go for another A defense? Do they funnel all their energy into an A hold? They have the supply. They could do so. Because it's harder for the second fight to really get back to these choke entrance points. Because consistently fighting here on the point with your fresh units while getting trapped is not the greatest of all the ideas. But if you get a very convincing fight, you might make it back to the standard position. Or you might get the chance for a close wall hold. But keep in mind, Shenjis and Kokos are open. A close wall hold is not the best retreat position, so maybe a longer hold here. The Kev trying to pick off some reinforcements. But it looks like they managed to get the full reset here on the A point. Very interesting. And I'm quite surprised by that. I think that's the first time I see this here in a long time, that people actually commit at least to a second fight on the wall. But that's maybe also due to the fact that Lys Royal is not the most experienced team. You saw that in the timing of their engagements in the first fight, that they're not creating fast enough pressure to force NoScrim off the point. Also, if you want to see the difference between Yerba Academy and Lys Royal attack, Yerba Academy, for example, immediately took this supply with a full rotation on the bottom to definitely deny for a long time the reinforcement pull on the defenders. That definitely creates more pressure on the defender team, so it makes it less likely for them to hold a second time on A. Because this A point defense can cost the attacker a lot of units. Because pushing through chokes into special units with the current open units and bans is very costly and can be very, very hard to pull off multiple times. So I would say NoScrim at this point is already a little bit ahead. Unit trade looks a little bit better, but I think it's not as harsh because Lys Royal did not have as many units as NoScrim to begin with. Very, very good basics here, by the way, on NoScrim. Their defensive rotations here have been very, very good when it comes to dodging traps. Very, very disciplined. I think guys call out the traps very well. But now the rotation needs to happen, guys. Move, 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 move. Second half of the pairs might be a little late. These Orochis here coming in way too late. I will not leak the name of the player, but if you are this, you know, you need to be faster. Momu now like the MVP of the last game day, winning 2 of the matches with his Kokos basically. Getting in 1 throw, but good glaive dive here onto the back. Brutos getting off a second grenade throw into the middle of the blob here. Very, very painful. And NoScrim now rolling forward with a massive advantage here in the infantry. And these guys definitely leave no doubt that they want to finish this game on A. This fight is even more convincing than the last one. Lys Royal only could only do this one time, the back and forth rotations, because they cost a lot of time. And yeah, it definitely shows that the trick with the back and forth rotation into a double split was a good tactic by them. And it would have worked in their favor if they pulled it off a little cleaner. But yeah, when they go for a head-on fight, they did absolutely not stand a chance against these special units and these very, very strong players in the blob of NoScrim. Also, now the chain dart comes in very handy to clean John Kai off the supply point here. And they can reinforce here on the A point. Question is, do they have enough time? Some units are running back. They could maybe call here for a safe reset because they already see heroes coming. Looks like undecisive. That's actually not good if you are undecisive. Some units definitely now need to come up the wall as soon as possible. Otherwise, they might just lose because of the reset. That was too slow. Not everyone here. They also have 2 Cavs on the ground. If they wanted, that's the thing of team coordination. I think here we see like the first like bigger mistake of NoScrim. If you know that you only have Cav left and your team is resetting another time for the wall, these Cav players need to go out way earlier to disrupt the reinforcements of the respawners. Luckily for them, this mistake did not really impact the battle because their unit blob on the wall was still super strong, well executed, and they murdered the whole blob that was already there. In Lys Royal, yeah, they are running out of time. Most likely they will not be capable of getting a very, very good fight or early fight here with a full stack, and good chase by NoScrim. Lys Royal called too late for the interception or for the interruption of the attack plan. So they're getting caught here in the open. The trap is also not really punishing. 2.5 hits. 2 and 2 half hits. And they are losing units on the wall again. They're calling here for the greed push out, guys. I don't think that's the correct way to play this. Praetos, I do see the greed, brother. I definitely am the brother in greed. But for competitive, maybe that would be a little bit too much. But yeah, solid way back to the A point again. That is definitely a very good call. Lys Royal needs a long time to reset because a lot of their players died already. At least the second time, some of them even 3 times. Liu? I don't know how to pronounce it correctly. My French is horrible. The guy here on the top in the scoreboard, I'm showing on the bottom of the screen, 4 deaths already. Being still dead. This is exactly the problem on these A fights when your people kept dying and dying. And they go for like wide splits, like special units not there. And here you see the panic, and that's definitely one of the things like lesser experienced teams tend to fall for. Like they have the correct feeling that they need to do something, but then they overcommit too early when their specials are not in place. The specials come in so late that they just come to get slaughtered. Yeah, and Lys Royal, they definitely need to work on their fundamentals. I guess also on the communication, because like the callback on these guys on the wall here some minutes ago was definitely also too late. But they've also shown great ideas, like this like rotation back and forth into a split was really cool to see, and I do think like these like good strategical ideas, that's something they can build on in the next games. That might also turn out to be easier. I do think like NoScrim is a very strong team considering they are playing in Rustic Division. So if something is not working in Lys Royal's favor here against this team, they definitely have better chances against some of the other Rustic teams. And I'm curious how it turns out for them. I will definitely watch at least some of the YouTube videos or VODs of Lys Royal. If they manage to like take these creative ideas with maybe a little bit improved basics in communication and like fight choreography or fight organization to get better results than this, because like this attack of them was absolutely murdered by NoScrim. Yeah, in the last 15 seconds, they're also getting murdered here in the spawn. I think some of these players here in NoScrim are enjoying themselves with the spawn farm.
Our screams is their doom.
Okay, the confirmed root scoreboards here in the observer mode, which is something I actually do not understand how it happens. Okay, I think the MVP is still kinda correct, I would say. So we are still crowning the rest. I leave to your guys' observation who you want for this. Milkui, I hope it's semi-correct. And Rettenkasper here in the MVP slots. Chimeran going for the deathmatch here on the battlefield with 10 hero kills. Well played. 2-digit hero kills is definitely a rarity in more competitive gameplay. So well played. Unique getting the bottom fragger position here, which might actually be not too far away from the truth, even with a solid 7 to 6 unit kills per performance. Shout out also to Unique. I think we blame that on the messed up scoreboard. And yeah, we see us in game 2 in a very few seconds. So we get a very short, but you guys get a drink, get a snack, or a short break, and we see you in minutes. Since the lobby is filling again pretty fast and we are about to start most likely also pretty fast, here again the bans in the game, just as a quick reminder or for everyone who turned in later into the stream. Shield Maiden and Kokos are saved. Star Wars, Iron Reaper, Phalanx, Hawang, Siphonaris and Lion Roar crew are gone, which are also quite common bans these days. So we can swap back into the lobby. That is nearly perfectly filled already. Also, thanks, by the way, to Atomic LOL for hosting these lobbies. I do really appreciate it, with a very nice naming of the teams. Only little improvements, by the way. You can also add the score here on top to show us the first victory of NoScrim in this case. because I think for the viewers that's actually great, and I do not come into the position where I feel like I need to add my own overlay, or the overlay I used for Area Cup, for example, to show the current game score. Because, I mean, right now it's not that important when it's only 2 games and people just play like 2-0 and we have kind of clear decisions and games. But especially later on in the tournament, when we might head into best of 5s, etc., it's very important to have a clear outlook on how the game is standing, because there's definitely a difference in, is it like 2v1 for now, is it 3-0 inside, like all these things definitely are necessary informations to really understand what is going on. So yeah, just a little bit improvement in case someone is watching this. Also, I need to give shout out to and greetings to Venas in the chat. And also Reddy, also long-time supporter. Welcome, buddy. Unique's internet. It didn't work. Okay. So we can blame the internet and the broken scoreboards. I do see this, yeah. And also, like, Manta is very, very hyped for the NoScrim attack. And I'm also very curious what these guys are pulling off, because as always, these guys have a lot of talented players in their ranks, but they might not put in the most effort when it comes to scrimming and planning. So it's always a little bit of a Pandora's box what they are cooking when they're in full control of what is happening. Because as per usual, the attacker in most games, on most maps, is defining the momentum and the pace of the whole game. And as a defender, it's easier, especially when you have like a lot of good players, it's easier to just follow your opponent and play around what you see. That's something that gives a lot of experienced players at least natural synergy. But it is definitely harder when you have to create the pace of the game by yourself and do the active action where you try to get your opponent into bad positions, when you try to get everyone in your team onto the same timings, which is again, like when you have a lot of experienced players, easier when it comes to 15 versus 15 blob fights. But that still definitely gets way harder when you try split fights like 10-2-3 split, 10-5 split, 8-2-2-3 split, or whatever crazy variation you might go for. The more splitted groups you have, the more important actually good communication becomes, and also the more like real game sense for all the people is needed. So yeah, let's see what we're going to see. I think last time we saw NoScrim, they pulled off, yeah, basically 15 versus 15 blob fights that got massively carried by their coconuts. Benjade Kolo 12, welcome buddy to the stream. Thanks for your follow. I do really appreciate your support. Coming in hot here in the intro of the new match. I think unit lineups did not really change by a lot. We see definitely heavy shield Maiden and Orochis on the side of NoScrim. And we see basically the same here on the opposing side. So like unit warband, like all the warbands are not that different. I think the biggest difference is that Lys Royal is trusting a little bit more in the new unit, the Zealots. They're taking 2 of these, and they also have a unit of imp shields. Like, I do see the value of imp shields as a unified signal of, like, this is the unit that goes in. I think that's maybe a thing that a lower bracket or less experienced team maybe needs to think about. To have like a universal sign unit that is holding up the flag for the attack, where people are like, oh yeah, these guys are in fight, now I can follow. I think for that purpose, that's actually pretty good. But if you speak about the unit of imp shields, I am not the biggest fan of it. And I do think that spear sergeants are doing the same job better, more efficient, more dangerous. For spear sergeants can kill isolated heroes as with one shot. They put out way more DPS in general. And they do not feel like significantly less tanky. But I guess they have, like the player also had the spear sergeants. So it might be due to the fact that these guys have like more fixed roles, which also makes sense for less experienced teams and players. If you try to assign certain roles to players that they can focus on learning. So a frontline player plays more of the frontline units, maybe even all of the frontline units, and then you are forced to take the A or B tier units sometimes, because you cannot play spear sergeants 3 times. And only more experienced teams are capable of rotating the frontline player, where you have, for example, like 6 players that are capable of playing a frontline unit, and then 2 of them play the frontline unit in each fight. But for that you need more versatile and also more experienced players overall. So yeah, like I don't want to hate on these imp shields because of that reason. Even if I would suggest like tier 1 teams, chivalric division teams should not really use them. But yeah, in these like more rookie or newer teams, I think it's a very valid thing to put people into one role and let them learn this role first. And learn this role maybe to a high degree. Yeah, and then we can also talk about this tower pushing phase. That is getting spicy the first time. They are putting out the Falconettis here and also lost some to the trap. To definitely deny this tower for the first time. Trap dodge, a little bit sloppy, but I guess it's okay. They got away with it. Spear sergeants also heal. Now the question is, do NoScrim, do they really care about this tower? Or will they also maybe go for a split attack through both of the chokes? Do they take another split maybe through the main gate? Or do they just wait to push the second or the bottom tower once again? And it looks like they do not care. They don't need this tower. They just tried it because having options is nice, but losing time is not on their game plan. And we see the push through the gate, maybe a little bit similar to here by the Academy, where they're just trying to secure the supply and definitely deny the reinforcement condition, which could make sense. Because then they're capable to just wear out defense on Lys Royal, even if they just 50-50 trade on the fight, for example, but not get a convincing win. So they ensure to not have to fight the second time on A. Now the question is, good, by the way, good reaction here by Lys Royal, taking the other supply. Good action by the dual blade. I think they initiated it. And we see a full blob push over these back stairs. I am not quite sure how well this is going, but Momo again on the specials, putting out the throw. Not that good of a positioning this time by his specials. Great job here on the top by George de la Jungle. Momo now in a better position, immediately adapted. But now the second threat, the jumping players got into his specials. And now this fight has become a lot harder. But it looks like they are slowly still getting advantage on these stairs. And here you definitely see a good rotation of the players in and out fight of the blob fight. But they're not gaining meters. They're just slowly burning forward, and now they're getting pushed backwards again. Reinforcements of the defenders are coming here, even with Kev. They didn't make it up the stairs, so the Kev can hit. Kev didn't. Where did this Kev go? This Kev was actually weird. I don't even... It was even very bad, I would say. But now the reinforcements come in hot. Because the respawn is still close. Maybe that's an argument for not really going for this back push in these very slow sheet meta scenarios, because you are not going to make it up and you get slowly zerked down with the reinforcements.
We go to war.
They got some A-cap, but I think that's not how they want to win games. Just trying to cap objectives is not the thing. Good supply block here by Preclara, delaying the cap at least a little bit, giving his team time to reset on the top here a little bit faster than the defender maybe. But I do think that was so far the worst attack play I've seen so far from NoScrim. I think in their minds this one-sided backstair up push looked a lot better, but definitely their win condition got beaten and very well counterplayed by Lys Royal. So yeah, the fundamentals there on Lys Royal's side, well trained in this scenario. And this fight getting once again intense here on the top. Both sides definitely try to gain the momentum here. But NoScrim is calling back their attack, I think. They're waiting for the full push. They also did not destroy this roof here. That is something you can destroy with your standard artillery. And you definitely should do that in case you're getting blocked here and there. You have to fight in this position. So you get actually trap access. And now we have a full top left side push. Again with Shenjis and Coconuts. Which should definitely be a win condition here. Good call for the wait. Also no try from Lys Royal to counter attack here earlier. These Shenjis now will align a good throw into the blob here. Also, Coco damage will matter definitely even from this position, because they can do the damage here in this area.
Our legend makes us immortal.
They are still surrounded, not the ideal position. Having your push surrounded by a lot of units. So I would say that they should have maybe retreated just a little bit back, not trying to gain as much space with the infantry immediately. Just using the kill potential of the Cocos and the Shenjis a little bit longer when everyone is forced into stacking. I think the infantry players were a little bit too hungry too early, but it still doesn't matter. They are making it through. Solid split. Eating the one side while not losing too many units on the other side, because the Spear Sergeant's doing a great job of blocking. There you see definitely the individual skill of these players, understanding the role of them in the fight, that the Spear Sergeant's players were just there to hold the one side, while the DPS units were mainly focusing on murdering the other side. This fight, less spicy, but way more effective. Lys Royal did not manage, I guess because of the chaos on the bottom, they did not manage to bring out a set of specials, and the specials made the big difference in this fight.
Of Valkyries.
So let's see. Do Lys Royal set up a defense here on this end cap early enough? It looks like it. NoScrim going immediately aggressive with some heroes. Maybe trying to catch something. Maybe trying to gain some information about the opponent units and positions for catches. And the short sword died before the push. Very, very good catch here by NoScrim. Good hero aggression, but that should not happen if you're playing a short sword. Shenjis are now shown and need to be taken out within the next 15 seconds before they get out another throw. One throw was already out anyway. They retreat to another safer position. And I think there was the second throw. Now there's the second throw. Hitting very hard into the blob of NoScrim. But Tyke now coming in hot with his Dagger X. He got around. He also managed to get into the coconuts at least. But he unfortunately did not make it into the Shenjis. Well played by the Lys Royal backline here. Splitting the specials in the back. Taking the valuable Shenjis in the safest position possible. And also their reinforcement cav came in from the back. And NoScrim here struggling to win the fight. Unit Trade is getting taken back by Lys Royal. Now it's time to call for reset, boys. NoScrim, you need to not keep dying, because otherwise the unit trade is getting into the uncomfortable territory. Maybe they need to take it slower. They still had time. They could have played it definitely slower with, trying to make use of the Cocos, etc. They definitely also did not use this fight to take out the Shenjis. The backline dives were not enough. It was just one short start player, I think, diving into the backline, which was not enough to make it through. He immediately got choked off and died. And see, the reset was quite fast here on NoScrim side. But they definitely need to gather all their players. And they now definitely need to adapt. They need to press tab. I cannot reinforce this enough. Even like in ranked and siege, press tab, guys. Tab is the most overpowered button for every player, but especially for shot callers. NoScrim should not attack through this choke as a one-man blob. Even if the opponents are massively stacked on Modaos, that will lose against these infantries. 100%. But they will not lose when they have Falco support and Shenjis. The amount of CC and blob damage is too high. And this might be a losing fight for NoScrim. Guys, like, even if I trust NoScrim players to be strong and effective, this setup is not the best. But now, way better dive here into the Shenjis. Immediately they are in. At least they found an answer to wipe these specials. Very, very good hero action by NoScrim. Like, the individual performance now comes through, and now the fight is immediately looking better. Chimeran coming in with the cav very hard and very deep, making it through the whole blob. But also the defenders' cavs coming in from the sides. Both sides going here for massive Couturiers. Prytos cav did not really gain momentum. And the fight is going out a little bit in favor of Lys Royal, and now the unit trade is getting very, very low here for NoScrim. What do they have left in the tank? And the other question is, how good are they at deathmatching? I know they have deathmatch OGs like Chimeran that spam deathmatch all day when it's open, but is that enough? And do they have enough time to win a deathmatch? Deathmatching people take some time, and they only have 4 minutes left on the clock. So even if they manage to burn down the unit trade to an equal 0-0, it might get hard. But Rattan, Pikes and Kev, some Zealots here on the attacker side, might be very, very tough. But it's still an important combination. I also already have to look up another streamer I can host you guys over to, because I will have to join my preparation very soon when the game ends. I will immediately host you guys over. And yeah, the full VOD will be uploaded then also to YouTube. I just checked at casters to send you over to the correct match. Okay, and the build-up here in front of the end cap is done. Last 3 minutes. And we see the blue ranges here out. These blue range units will be so crucial here. Murdering all these unshielded units. Mikui was maybe a little bit too close to the front line and he corrected that positioning, but he already lost some of his Arbalists. And Shrew, the captain, is jumping. Rosette and Kasper as well. These pole axes take out the specials. Also WRZ and Eleo. I'm very sorry. Jumping into the other range with very good coordination on the hero dives here. But not enough units to win the front side here. There's too many gray units. And this marks 100% the defense win of Lys Royal, which puts us at a 1-1, guys. Insane. Lys Royal, great, absolute great comeback, guys. I cannot reinforce this enough. As much as your defense looked like you guys are struggling, insane comeback here. Like on your attack, you guys look like you're struggling a lot, but insane comeback on your own defense. Very, very insane. I'm actually proud of you guys. And this is exactly why I love this type of content, guys. I cannot reinforce it enough. This makes competitive fun. At least for me. And yeah, I will need to host you guys over because I need to join my preparation. So I'm raiding you over to Tummelwiese. I think he is streaming the game further. He is in German, so guys, be nice, send him love. And we are out.